Representative Bill Cassidy, a Republican of Louisiana, now running for Senate against Mary Landrieu. Well, here's what he has to say about Medicare. For Christ's sake, Obama, man. There was a program called Medicare Advantage that worked for senior citizens. And Obama ripped it out, $716 billion. Remember in the 2012 campaign, Republicans kept talking about this. Obama cut Medicare by $716 billion. And in fact, Bill Cassidy said, among the things the president's health care law does is it cuts Medicare Advantage. He's looking out for senior citizens. Now, you know how ballistic I go when President Obama offers to cut what they call entitlements. Now, of course, you're entitled to those because you worked your whole life for them, right? Social Security and Medicare, you paid into them. You're entitled to every red cent that you put in and that you're supposed to get back. But Medicare Advantage was not one of those things. The $716 billion didn't go to the people who put money into Medicare, to the citizens. If it did, I'd have been screaming from the rooftops on it. No, it was specifically to private corporations who delivered the same exact product, but skimmed $716 billion off the top. It was one of the best things that President Obama did. And I got 200 criticisms of President Obama. Just check YouTube. It is littered by criticism of Obama that I have done, probably more so, certainly substantively, than any Republican has, okay? But getting rid of Medicare Advantage and saving us $700 billion was fantastic. They were just a middleman basically robbing us blind. But then the Republicans, so by the way, so the Republicans didn't dislike Obama doing that. In spite of that, they disliked Obama doing that because of that. See, because, as Glenn Greenwald always says, it's not in spite, it's because of. The Republicans love it when the private corporations skim off the top, give you no extra services, and then funnel some of that money back to them in campaign contributions. So they fought against it. Now, later, Republicans also want to balance the budget. So in every proposal going forward, they did the same exact thing. Bill Cassidy, the guy now complaining about it, voted the same way. He voted to strip the $716 billion out of Medicare. Because otherwise they can't balance the budget, and they figure Obama did it already anyway. Okay, let's go for it, right? When asked about that, he said, well, but okay, but if they're taking the savings of that and putting it back into the trust fund, I'm okay with that. Actually, I voted to do that at one point. Aha. In other words, you just admitted you voted to do the same exact thing that you criticized President Obama for. Can you believe he took out of Medicare? The same exact vote I had. Okay. Then Paul Ryan, when asked, wait a minute, you're the leader of the budget for the Republicans. You're the guy who always puts it together. It's the Paul Ryan budget that we vote on. And you did the same cut Obama did that you criticized them for during the campaign. He said, no, but you don't understand. I love this quote. Cuts to Medicare, quote, makes it easier to balance the budget. Yeah. I think that's what President Obama said. They're unbelievable, man. They just don't give a damn about hypocrisy. Then we turn to Bill Cassidy and his communication director. They said, but you also supported the Paul Ryan budget, and the Paul Ryan budget does the same cut. I love this. He says, quote, the legislation was embryonic, whereas Obamacare passed and came into law. But that sounds like abortion to me. But okay, anyway. So he's like, oh, no. When I voted for it, we voted on a Republican budget that didn't have a chance of passing anyway. So it was embryonic. And so it was okay to rip that out. Okay, but Obama's passed. So my votes don't count. It's Obama. But look, overall, you know Republican hypocrisy. The main reason I'm telling you this story is, if you're not clear about it yet, wake up. Okay, hoo over here. Republicans don't give a damn about protecting Medicare and Social Security Act. They never have. From day one, they opposed both of those programs vehemently. And they've been fighting them ever since. So I can't believe that we have citizens to this day and age, and by the way, journalists, so-called journalists, who take this as a real issue. Look, there's a lot of legitimate criticism of President Obama. But if and by the way, I think he's Republican light in that he does want to do a grand bargain where he actually cuts Medicare and Social Security to real recipients. He hasn't done it yet, but I think he does want to strike a deal. I know that because I'm not reading the tea leaves. He proposes it in one of his budgets. Now, the Republicans don't criticize him for that because the reality is the Republican Party has always, and continues to this day, love the idea of cutting Medicare and Social Security. So it's not a real debate. It's not a real discussion. You can question how much the Democrats are legitimate in their protection of Medicare and Social Security. But you can't possibly think, if you're attached to facts and reality at all, if you paid any attention to politics in this country for the last 7 decades, 8 decades, you can't possibly think that the Republicans would like to protect Medicare and Social Security more than the Democrats. That's just not reality.